Hi Harish, good morning and welcome on YourPedia.
Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you so much for
Wonderful.
having me here.
Yeah, and Harish, you are presently in India, though you are pursuing your PhD from Ireland, University College Dublin in Ireland, and you are a civil engineer. So maybe you came home nowadays, and I got opportunity to interact with you. And Harish, today's our discussion will be on couple of things. Number one, you're a civil engineer, and as we know, maximum government jobs in India are for civil engineers. That is number one. Number two, you have done your masters in civil engineering. You have done, if I'm not wrong, in environmental domain, and then you are doing your PhD now from abroad.
Yes.
So why you thought of going for PhD and why you thought of going abroad for PhD? I will be discussing about that. Then we'll be discussing like what are the typical opportunities for people who do PhD abroad, especially in Ireland. So that is how we will be discussing, and we'll be fixing over to civil engineers like opportunities for them. So I start with your background, Harish. Please tell us which part of India you are from, and from which college you did your BTech, from which college you did your masters, and what was the journey between before you went for PhD.
Okay. So thank you so much. And so my name is Haris, and I completed my bachelor's from Odisha. So it was VSSUT, Veer Surendra Sai University of Technology, Odisha, 4-year course of civil engineering. And then I had a gap of 1 year preparing for GATE exam. And then I got into NIT Nagpur, VNIT.
Mhm.
So there I pursued masters for 2 years on environmental engineering.
Okay.
And then after immediately I had job offers from campus placements and all. But I was always curious and I was always interested about higher education. So that's why I was looking forward to a PhD.
Mhm.
And it was not a long time that I struggled. It was very quickly I got a PhD. So my profile, I believe, was really good. So
Mhm.
it helped me actually. That's why.
Mhm.
And I am from east part of India, eastern part of India, Odisha. So the district is Keonjhar.
Kyojhar.
That's all.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir,
Harish,
Keonjhar.
yeah, so that is what. No, Harish, my couple of quick questions. Number one, there is a craze of government job in India, as we know. Government jobs are safe jobs, secure job, prestigious job, especially the part of India from where you come, Kyojhar district and all. Those are the areas which are not metropolitan areas. Those are the areas which are, they are much in news for lack of infrastructure developments and all. Keonjhar, all these districts where a lot of government policies are working and development is going on. So people go for government jobs. As a civil engineer, you never thought of going for government job of assistant engineer, junior engineer, and all.
No, never, never. Because like the competition is crazy high, and I was initially from starting I was interested in research. First point is that out of all the candidates they appear in the government job, these are my perspectives, my opinions.
Yes.
There is a very minute percentage who get cleared in the government job. So rest
Mm,
majority of the people they are left behind, and they keep on
mm,
repeating years and years. I was
mm,
not fine with that.
mm,
And secondly,
mm,
my target was to involve in research and what I love. So while I was preparing for masters, there was a subject environmental engineering, and
mm,
it actually like ignited a spark inside me to do the
mm,
further research on that domain. So that's why
mm.
I blindly went for higher education. And I knew that after a few years, I will be again back and hopefully I would be finding a job, having a
Yes.
PhD abroad. That was my
Yes.
plan actually.
Yes. No, now Harish, coming to second part, second question. When you went to NIT
Hello?
and you pursued your environmental science in NIT, when you went to NIT, am I audible, Harish, now?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, so when you went for your masters in NIT, what difference did you find? You said a spark was ignited in me for environmental science. So when you did your masters, were you clear that after MTech I'm going to go abroad for PhD, and you did your work seriously and you did your project nicely? Because you said that you got very quickly PhD also. So what was the reason?
Yes.
Have you done your MTech very seriously and your project very seriously? How was it?
Yes, while I was preparing for GATE exam, so that is when actually I was very curious about the subject and I wanted to do a master's. And initially, before even joining the master's, it was very clear as a day in my mind that further studies. And for those things, I tried to figure out what are the things that are necessary for me to get a degree. Okay, like a PhD, secure a PhD position abroad. And especially in good IITs in India. That was also one option that I considered. So first criteria was my CGPA, and the most important criteria was my project work. So to be honest, I did my project work I invested a lot of time. I was enjoying, and the
Mm-hmm.
output was really nice. Everyone praised me about that. So actually, that is the one that helped me. And while sending emails and all, I attached a part of my project work. So that's how I got majority of the replies from
Mm.
professors
Okay.
abroad.
Okay. So, Harish, as we know, environmental science is one of the very good, domain to work in. There are so many government jobs also in environmental science, like Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Board, so many jobs which are coming
Yes,
actually.
yes,
And also,
yes.
it is a higher education domain also. I would like to know from you, what are the opportunities available for a candidate if he goes for environmental science PhD?
After PhD, you mean?
Yeah, after PhD, environmental science PhD. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that depends if you have done a PhD in India or abroad.
Mm,
So to tell you very clearly, if you have done an environmental engineering program abroad, especially in
mm,
parts of Europe where I am currently,
mm,
opportunities are really
mm,
nice all over the European Union and also in UK. So
mm,
when I search for like advertisements and all, I see
mm,
postdoc positions, assistant professor positions, and I truly believe that it is even easier to get a position, assistant professor position in environmental engineering abroad. It should be easier than what is the scenario it is in India right now. I strongly
mm,
believe it. So
mm,
opportunities are really crazy, and they really put a lot of emphasis on environment, pollution control, and all these things. And it's been
mm,
growing every year and every year. The fundings uh, they are securing the professors in terms of environmental research is getting higher and higher every year because I know it. I am in Ireland currently, so I know how much they're investing money in this particular area. So it's getting high and high every day. So it's there is
Good.
good opportunities after PhD if you want to settle in a country which is not I mean apart from India.
Mm. Okay, Harish, my next question to you is, after MTech, you were having options. Your CGP, as you said, was good. Your project was good. And I'm very sure you could have got easily IITs also. And you preferred abroad. I want you to give a very genuine and honest, inputs here. Why candidates should think of going abroad for PhD?
Okay, the first that's a very nice and interesting question. I'm happy that you asked it. The first point that was triggered me to go for a PhD position abroad is that the duration in India.
Okay.
No offense, but in India, it's like minimum 5.5 years. Minimum 5.5 years.
That too
Most
after
of the
MTech, huh?
cases, like
That
majority of
after
the
MTech.
cases. That too after MTech. Yes,
Mm,
majority of the cases. But in EU, European Union, it is 3 to 4 years. I have friends who are doing a 3 years of PhD. My PhD program is 4 years. It depends on the project that you are doing. But
mm,
the fact that you could be able to complete it within 3 years is amazing.
mm,
So you reduced half of the time, and meanwhile you can do a postdoc. Secondly, the
mm,
finance.
mm,
So doing a PhD, it is highly likely that someone would be starting late 20s, like probably 24 or mid 20s, something like that.
mm, mm,
And considering that it would stretch up to 6 long years,
mm,
everyone wouldn't be comfortable with it, and
mm,
so
mm,
was
mm,
I. So
mm,
I was like, no, 6 years is a long time. And secondly, the finance, the money, they pay really well. Any part of the European Union, especially I know if you start a PhD, you should be able to save at least 30,000 Indian rupees,
mm,
at least that amount.
mm,
I strongly
mm,
believe it. And imagine
mm,
right now also how much we are getting paid in India because they have a
mm,
strong currency. So that's why you can
mm,
save better. That was
mm,
another opportunities.
mm,
And the third thing is that international exposure. I
mm,
never thought about it, but once
mm,
I landed in a foreign land, there are people from every country.
mm,
You get to experience, and they fund everything to go to conferences and all. They will buy you flight tickets, your hotel charges, everything. You just go and attend conferences and be
mm,
back. So
mm,
in that way, you would also have the opportunity to explore
mm,
like different countries, and on top of
mm,
that, you would have also credibility in terms of references and all.
mm,
These
mm.
are like
The
very
reasons.
very good factors, yeah, why I
Mm,
considered doing a
mm.
PhD abroad.
No, no, Harish, when we think of going abroad PhD, you mentioned very clearly 3 points, which I believe are the strongest points. Number one, and the most important is the duration. Duration has to be there. Because in Europe, we say that PhD is not a higher education course, it is a job. That is what they say. I'll come to that point also. Second is the scholarship which is provided. Scholarship provided is very good. Third is the international exposure. So you mentioned about these 3 points. They are very relevant points. Now, please tell us when Europe may when you go for PhD, it is said that it is a job. They advertise it as a job. Now, what is the meaning of that?
Well, it's very interesting. Like, there is no pressure. It's like a job. You start your day from like 9:30 or 10 and be back by 5 or 5:30, and
Mm,
nobody is going to ask you any question. Saturday
mm.
and Sunday is clear off. You can even
Okay,
lodge an FIR if you want
okay,
to, if they ask you to work on Saturday and Sunday.
okay,
So work-life balance is really nice. That was
okay.
it.
Mm,
But like considering two countries, let's
mm,
say Germany, let's say Germany and Ireland.
mm,
So in Germany, they consider it students, okay, and students have other benefits also, like the bus
mm,
fare is halved. You buy anything, there is 10% discount almost for clothes and anything you buy from the market. Majority of the
mm,
things they have discounts,
mm,
something like that. But in Germany, they treat as employees, and then you would have to pay the tax, and that is the
mm,
reason how why also they pay high amount. So whatever
mm,
money that I would be getting in Ireland, someone
mm,
would be getting much higher in Germany, but they would have to
mm,
pay the tax as well, which is
mm,
crazy high, about 30-40% about the
mm,
tax. So
mm,
it actually depends, but
mm,
it's like a job.
mm,
It's like a job. It's not like uh like your student life is gone. It's like a job. It's really
mm.
nice.
Okay. So, Harish, now my next point is related to Ireland. So, when you thought of going abroad, there are so many countries. There's US, there's Europe, and there are so many countries. So, Ireland, please tell us something about Ireland because students are not very much clear about Ireland, and we want to know the life there in Ireland. What kind of universities do we have there? What kind of country is that? For Indian students, I mean the language they speak and everything, and then we will come back to academics part and scholarship part also. But why Ireland and what is Ireland?
So Ireland is a small, tiny country, and the people are really lovely. They are welcoming,
Okay,
and they give you a smile when you pass across the streets. That lovely there.
okay,
And secondly,
o-
they do speak English. So out of every country in the European Union, Ireland is the only one whose like official language is English. So you won't
okay.
have any problem communicating.
Mm,
That is the major part. And there are very good universities. There is a university also named Trinity College Dublin,
mm,
which is in the city center of Dublin,
mm,
and that's a very high ranked university.
mm,
They do a lot of research investigations, and they have a huge amount of funding.
okay.
Secondly, there is a very good university that I am doing my PhD from, University College Dublin.
Okay.
And these are the universities, you talk about any domain, any part,
Mm-hmm.
there would be
Mm-hmm.
definitely people working on them, starting from
Mm-hmm.
music, drama, arts,
Mm-hmm.
history. Even there are people doing PhD in history in my
Mm-hmm.
university. I know
Okay. Mm-hmm.
them.
Good.
So any domain you pick, any domain you pick,
Mm-hmm.
there would be definitely availability of the positions. So it is
Mm-hmm.
worth trying it there.
Mm-hmm.
And the money that they pay is really nice. There is only one problem there. I think it would be solved real soon. That is the accommodation problem, and that too, especially if you are in Dublin, in the
Mm-hmm. Okay.
center of Ireland, the capital of Ireland. The
Mm-hmm.
rest of the parts is fine. That's the only
Mm-hmm.
concern that you should be
Mm-hmm.
worried about considering Ireland. Apart from that, it is a lovely country to start your career. Apart from,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you consider going abroad.
So that means for Indian student staying there is good.
I also targeted other countries. Yes, yes, it is definitely. And there are plenty of Indians also
Mm.
in Ireland.
Okay. Mm.
Most of them are doing masters.
Okay. You were talking about other universities also, Harish, which you were targeting. You were talking about other universities also which you were targeting.
Yeah, I was actually, yes, sir. I did not have any specific country.
Mm.
Like I was looking for opportunity first, and then I
Mm.
thought I would discard,
Mm.
let them first reject
Mm.
me, then I would reject them. So
Mm.
I kept my options open.
Mm.
Whatever options I would get, I would
Mm.
consider. First, let them
Mm.
offer me, and then I will
Mm.
decide whether to join or not. I wouldn't
Mm.
discard them myself before even applying. That's what I
Mm.
thought. And
Mm.
I had almost offered a position from Texas A&M University.
Mm.
There was an Indian professor there.
Mm.
So he almost offered me, but before that, I got
Mm.
this one.
Mm. Mm.
So I considered that one. Also, there was another university I was having it was there. And I explored actually
Mm.
every other country.
Mm.
Italy, Ireland, and
Okay.
Texas, USA.
Okay. Mm. Mm.
All these options I had.
Okay. So Harish, now coming to scholarship part. Please share with us what kind of scholarship students can get in Ireland. Normally, students have in their mind this range of scholarship, $2,500 to $3,000. That is universally, US range. I mean, 2,500 or in and
Yes, yes.
around that, and $1,000 normally they can save. That is there in the mind of students. Please brief us about Ireland.
So, well, it depends. There are different funding agencies that would fund you. Starting from one is SFI, Science Foundation Ireland, which is a very good one. And then there is IRC, Research Council. And then
Mm.
there are several others also. There is a minute difference between like every other funding agency. They pay differently, slightly higher, slightly lower, depending on which funding agency you are funded from.
Mm.
But to summarize the things that I mean, you would be getting paid about around in today's scenario, you would be getting paid about 1900, 1800 to 1900 euros.
Okay.
So which would be about, if I try to convert it, which would be about 1 lakh and 60 to 70,000 Indian rupees.
Hmm.
And 90,000 Indian rupees would be enough for you to carry out your monthly expenses and rent. Rest you can save.
So that means 50,000 plus certainly you can save, right?
So it's a good amount actually. You can save up to, yeah, certainly. 50,000
Mm.
rupees you can certainly save.
Wonderful. Now, Harish, coming to selection process of Ireland, please brief the students what are the credentials required if they want to get selected in universities, as you mentioned, good universities.
Okay. So actually the selection procedure that depends on the professors. Sometimes they ask you to submit a research proposal. Sometimes they would interview you. They would ask you to give a presentation on certain topics. For me, it was completely informal. interview, I was ready with a presentation. They did not ask me that, and there was some mention about the selection procedure, but I was ready for myself. And as soon as I joined the meeting, they started on asking me technical questions, one after the other, after the other. It went on about 30 to 40 minutes, and mostly it was technical, and some of them were non-technical as well. Like why do you choose a PhD? And it's a long journey. Are you fine with that? Something like that. These questions. So it depends actually, but it's very fun, and they really, and I failed to answer one thing. They asked me certain technical term, and then I was like, I never heard of this. And then they were so sweet, and they told me that you are not supposed to know this. We were just curious whether you know this term or not. Don't worry, it's fine. So like
Mm,
it's very
good.
different experience and very
Mm,
nice experience.
mm. So you mentioned that you got quickly your PhD and you did not, you could not, you did not wait for long to get your first opportunity. Why it happened, Harish? What was the reason? Why you got it quickly?
I think the major reason was my project work.
Mm,
My previous project was
mm,
master. So it's like I'm improvising my master's project in one way or the other. There is like high alignment with my master's project to what I'm doing in my PhD. So I
mm,
completely foresee it. So it
mm,
was like they were tallying up with each other very much,
mm,
my master's
mm,
project and my PhD project. And secondly, I had invested a lot of time in my master's project, and I developed a soft tool about that work. And I sent to them, and they mentioned in my job, and really great job in developing this soft tool, and we were really impressed. They
mm,
mentioned it clearly in my interview, during my interview. So I think that
mm.
was the reason. And whenever I was sending email to professors, I was always attaching this part
Project. Mm,
because it was very different.
mm. Harish, what is the best way to
Yeah,
catch
the
professor?
project one.
How can you catch a professor? Is it through email or LinkedIn, or what is the best way? Harish, could you listen my question?
Hello.
Am I audible, Harish?
Yes, sir. Now it's audible.
Yeah. So
I
so
think
my question
yes,
was,
sir. You are.
what is the best way to catch a professor? Through mail or LinkedIn or how?
In my opinion, the first recommendation from my side would be the websites. They advertise on websites. So
Mm,
because they search for people, and
mm,
it is always advisable to target for the websites first.
mm,
Then you can keep on looking into LinkedIn and other things.
mm,
But in websites, they want it quickly. They would mention the deadline in coming 3 4 months, and they would
mm,
be desperately trying to hire someone because they would have secured the funding.
mhm,
So if you manage to match your research interest with any
mm,
advertisement that is floated on the website, there is a high chance that you are going to get selected. So it should be like that. You should be targeting the websites first, followed by the other methods.
mhm. Harish, is IELTS, TOEFL, GRE required for Ireland?
Yes, there is, but there is a clause there. Like for me, I got accepted without even submitting IELTS score. Till now, I haven't submitted any IELTS score to my university. But for
Mm,
the visa,
mm. Okay.
they won't approve. They don't care what the university talks, what the
Mm,
university accepts or university doesn't accept.
mm,
They would definitely ask you to submit some kind of a English proficiency exam result. And
mhm,
it's not a big deal because it was very low. The score was very low. They wanted about 5 or 5.5 in IELTS,
mm,
which is a very low score. But anyways,
mm,
just to be on the safer side, it is always advisable to have a score like that, English
mm,
proficiency and especially IELTS. Apart from
mm,
that, there is no GRE needed. Even all
mm,
over Europe, majority of the
mm.
cases, there is no requirement of
GRE.
GRE.
Hmm. No, Harish, coming to your PhD program, Do we have option for direct PhD also immediately after BTech or MSc or BSc?
Yes, definitely. Only
Hmm.
only thing that they care about hiring PhDs is your past research experience. That is
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
That is all.
Hmm.
If you manage to do a nice, decent job, even in your bachelor's or master's, MS, and they love to hire younger generation and all. I always have seen that. So it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you hold a master's degree or not. There is possibility. Well, yeah, because of funding restrictions and all, there are certain projects that they demand to have master's project. It would be written over the advertisement like that. The requirement is master's.
Hmm.
But I don't think that that is a criteria. Most of the cases you should be able to attend. I mean, apply.
Okay. Now, Harish, coming to environmental science, please tell the student who are listening to you what are the latest, research areas in environmental science. If somebody wants to pursue career in that, what area he should focus, which project he should do. As you said, project is very important. So, think of student who is doing BTech or BSc or MSc or MTech. What project he should think of doing in environment science?
Okay. So, in environmental engineering, I would suggest people to look, students to look for the domains which would be dealing with
Okay.
wastewater and water, and recovery of nutrients from waste,
Mm-hmm.
and that too integrated with artificial intelligence and machine learning would be an added advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, and some lab experience is also very handy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be definitely give you an upper edge over the other candidates. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the domains that definitely could be considered, and also air pollution,
Mm-hmm.
which comes under the environmental engineering, air
Mm-hmm.
pollution, which is also a growing domain in this
Mm-hmm.
area.
Okay. So now, Harish, please tell us how a student can decide whether his credentials are good or not. The student who is in graduation or post graduation and listening to you, how he can make assessment, self assessment, whether he can get opportunity like you in those countries or not. What are the parameters for that?
Okay. So firstly, the CGPA that actually doesn't bother them much. Well, it
Okay.
depends.
Mm,
It affects the selection procedure, but not to a great extent. What would
mm,
get you definitely a PhD position is your project and your past research experience. I
mhm,
mean, वो बोलते हैं ना कि पुराने पाप धोने के लिए उसको उसको करने के लिए ना आपको प्रोजेक्ट अच्छा करना चाहिए.
mm,
If you clearly focus on project,
mm,
everything that you have done in your past, like your
mm,
CGPA and all, even though it is low, it would be hidden. It would
mm,
not be that visible, considering that
mm,
you have done a good job in research.
mm, mhm,
Only thing that they care about is research and
mhm,
research experience. They would
mm,
evaluate only one thing in the interview,
mm,
that whether this candidate has the potential to
mm,
complete this project or not. That is
mhm,
all. And for that, research experience is needed. They don't care
mhm,
about what your CGPA was.
mm,
They don't,
mm,
because
mm,
research and CGPA both are two different things.
yes.
So that
So,
so
so,
that's
uh,
that's the reason.
so yeah, a student from a normal graduation college, a normal college in India, not from IIT, not from NIT, normal graduate from India, and doing really good project. Do you think he can get opportunities in those countries?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I know people from electronics, electronics and telecommunication engineering background doing a PhD in environmental. Can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Having done bachelor's in electronics and telecommunication engineering, and then doing a master's in environmental for a year, and then
Mm-hmm.
doing a PhD in
Mm-hmm.
environmental.
Mm-hmm.
So anything is credible.
Yes.
You just have to make them
Mm-hmm.
believe that you could do it. That is
Mm-hmm.
all. That is the only
That's true.
criteria. Experience,
That's true.
research experience.
Mm. Okay, Harish. So I think that brings us to an end of this wonderful session. And my last question to you is, uh, have you thought of anything like after PhD, what options you want to explore?
Okay, sir. Yes, I have given a thought about it. So there are two, three conditions. The first one is that I could settle abroad.
Mm,
My family is not fine with that. I would have to get back. So for that, I mean, it is easier to settle abroad after
mm,
a PhD. The pay is really nice,
mm,
and because I would have to come back, so I am considering doing postdocs. I am in a 2 years of postdoc or maybe 3 year postdoc after PhD. That's what my plan is. It is not necessary. If you want to settle abroad, you can immediately catch a job after you finish your PhD.
mm,
So I will be doing postdocs. That's what my initial plan is. And then after completing the universities that are like centralized universities, IITs, NITs, and state universities. That's what my current plan is right now. And you go to any IIT website, any NIT website, even state university, just look at any of the professor's
profiles.
profile. Most of them would be having a foreign degree,
Yes.
certainly.
Yes.
So that is the reason why I have also foreseen it, and I have seen plenty of videos of
Mm,
yours also. You were mentioning all
mm,
these things.
mm, mm,
So actually, the planning was a long, long time ago.
mm. Good. So that's wonderful, Harish. So we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. And let me thank you for the time you spared and wonderful input you gave. And I look forward to keep on interacting with you to spread awareness among students, not only engineering students, science students also. And as you said, different domain of learning, they also go for environment because environment is something which is not specific to civil engineering. It is, as you mentioned, electronics and
Yes, yes.
communication people are also doing. I'm very sure science students also go for it, and other students also must be going for it. So it is a broad domain, and I would keep on interacting with you related to opportunities in environment engineering and environment science. So thanks a lot, Harish, for your time.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me here. It's a pleasure being here.